the energy you start with shapes everything. Today, I'm going to take a moment to address key number 2 in the Empowered Communication series that I've been talking about. And this is basically power versus force. This is a concept that's been widely talked about, also connects back to like the map of consciousness. So there's a lot of different thoughts that kind of feed into this concept that I'm going to talk about. But I have boiled it down to what I call elevated thought, which is, of course, a diagram, because I love a good diagram. So, but this diagram actually has a picture blended in because I really feel like the picture helps to capture what those areas feel like. So, okay, so elevated thought. If we think about energy flow as like a body of water in motion, okay, whether that's like a river or whatever. So you have, at its best, it's going to have, which is up at the top up here, you're going to have what I call the unhindered flow. This is where you are operating from a place of authority. This is where you are trusting that you're being led. You're operating in your passion and your excitement, which is, of course, causing this amazing momentum for everything that you say and do, because you are operating with the flow. So you're not moving against the current, you're moving with the current, which gives you that momentum, which helps you to make greater inroads in whatever you're doing, whether it's in a communication, whether it's doing a project, whatever it is. It's coming from that place of passion, which drives things naturally without having to use extra reserves. Again, so if we think of energy as currency, which again is one of the other empowered communication points, if we think of it as currency, it is conserving your currency because you are able to go with the flow. So it's not costing you more, it's costing you less because you're going ahead and yielding to the current that is already there. You're trusting that the universe is leading you, okay? Now, on the flip side, I'm going to take you down to the bottom, which is the constricted state. So if you picture this, which again, it feels really dark and stormy and stagnant, I think is a really good way to put it. So if you picture, again, that same body of water, but picture it with lots of rocks and other stuff in it that's hindering it. It may not even be moving anymore. It may be completely stagnant. And that's what that feels like. So to get anything done when you are in that energetic state requires more momentum because you're basically swimming upstream. That's what it feels like. It feels like you're going against the current, or you're having to create any movement yourself. So it's costing you more to do that because you are having to expend more energy to achieve that, okay? And again, this is not good or bad. This is information for you. So this is so you can learn to be aware of how your energy flow is at any given time. So then in between these two states, in the middle here, we have what I call the hindered state. And frankly, most of the time, people end up spending a lot of their time in some variation of this, which is kind of a combination of the unhindered state and the constricted state. So essentially what happens when you're in the hindered state is it's in the area of the clouds, right? So things can feel a little bit murky. You are still functioning and flowing, sort of, but it's taking more from you to get things done. You may find that you're numbing out to not feel things, or, to compensate for the extra energy that you're expending. You're like having moments where you just collapse and veg out. There tends to be, kind of those flip-flops and extremes in there because you're basically trying to maintain, essentially. And so here's why all of this information is helpful. It's helpful because it helps you to have an internal measuring system to realize where you are in any, emotional state, in any conversation that you're having. What does the flow look like in that? Like, where is your energy right now? Are you feeling unhindered? All the lights are green and everything's in motion and you're excited? Or like, are you feeling confused and disoriented? Then you're probably in a hindered state again. And so the point of this is to be able to transmute that energy and shift back into a more elevated place when you realize that you're in a constricted place. If you find yourself in a constricted place, seek information. If you see that you're operating from force and you're having to strive, okay, let's dial it back a little bit. What is the origin of that? And so this comes back to where I started, where I was talking about the energy that you start with is the energy that you're going to finish with. So in anything, let's say you're going on a diet. This is one of the examples that I use because I have many, many years of experience of attempting this. If you start a diet in low energy, so that's going to be like, I hate myself or I hate my body, and so I'm going to do this diet so that I can feel better about myself. It almost never works because you have not addressed the root energy that is there for you. And so if you don't ever address that energy, you can have physical results that are positive, but ultimately the problem remains because you haven't addressed the root issue, which is whatever the negative thing is that was sparking you in the first place. But if you come from a place of, I love myself and I want to take care of myself, and so I want to do this good thing for me and I want to do that good thing for me, you're going to have a completely different result, and it's going to be a lot more sustainable because it's not coming from that place of force. So how this works in conversations, because again, we're talking about communications here, is that when you are in communication with somebody, whether it's in a conversation or whether it's in, some offline exchange where you're emailing or whatever, you can look at the energy you are bringing to the situation. Are you trying to force a connection that is no longer naturally there, right? Are you trying to, if you're reaching out to somebody and they are not matching your energy or interest back, like, are you taking note of that? Or are you just like, this person is supposed to be in my life and I'm going to make that happen? Like, just be aware of those tells. Like, take note of it and realize, like, if you are writing paragraphs to a person and they're writing a one-liner back to you, like, you're not matching the energy that they're putting out. And like, that's probably time to like, look at it again. Is this really where I should be expending my energy and trying to force something to happen? Or do I just need to trust this and step back? And so again, it's very, very helpful in conversation because you can look at things again from curiosity and not judgment. The whole point of this is not to be able to beat yourself up with this and be like, oh, I'm in constricted energy. It's recognizing when you are operating in flow versus when you're not. When are you operating in authority versus when are you operating in that force and striving? And it's so that you can conserve your own energy and operate in a place that is really giving you the most bang for your buck, so like, let's use your energy wisely. Let's make these things. And I'm not trying to say that there's never moments where you're going to intentionally, spend more energetically on a relationship. There are moments where you do, and that's fine, but it's doing it intentionally. It's not just, always plowing through everything and then feeling exhausted all the time. So that is what I wanted to share with you guys today. Is there a moment where you have started from that place of force or striving, and that you realized you didn't get the results that you wanted later, and you were trying to figure out why, that now it suddenly makes sense because you understand this? I don't know whether that's something you've experienced, because for me, that's how I felt when I learned about it. But love and light to all of you, and stay in that place, or continue to move back to that place of unhindered flow. Again, it's hard to like stay in it indefinitely, but just be aware of it and constantly be transmuting to move back into it. And I will talk to you guys soon.